everything that you learned about women is wrong. All those dating tricks and trying to figure women out, they might give you short-term results for sure, but in the long run, they're killing your chances of making a real connection, which is why by the end of this video, I'll reveal why 99% of men fail with women, and more importantly, how you can break free from these traps to finally build a fulfilling connection that lasts. But first, let's start with the big problem here. Most of us, from a young age, were taught to see dating as a game we're supposed to win. Think about it. How many times were you told you need a perfect conversation starter to make her interested? Or that you need to pretend to care less than you actually do because someone told you that's what women want. A lot, right? We keep getting advices like wait 3 days to text her back and don't compliment her too much or she'll think you're soft. Basically, we're told to pretend, to mask our actual feelings and to be something we're not. And sure, some of these tactics might get you some attention up front, but the big question is, does it really make her feel connected to you? The truth is, if you're constantly playing a role or following a script, you're hurting yourself by not letting her see the real you. You're showing her a version of you that's carefully crafted to seem more attractive, but it isn't authentic. Now imagine meeting someone and having to wonder if everything they're saying is real or just something they read online from a dating guru. Yeah, that's exactly how it feels when you rely on tactics. You're building a wall, not a bridge. And what's worse is that deep down, you know it. Every time you're trying to rehearse what to say, every time you second guess whether or not to give her a compliment, you're hesitating. You're not acting freely. You're following a rule book that feels unnatural because it is, well, unnatural. And all these rules don't make you feel closer to her either. They make you feel trapped. You're trying to be what you think she might want, not who you are, which is not just exhausting but also incredibly frustrating. You have probably experienced something like this before. You're talking to someone you like, but instead of enjoying the moment, you're mentally calculating your next move. Should I laugh at that joke? Did I respond too quickly? What if I say the wrong thing? It's like walking on eggshells. And it's no wonder so many guys feel disconnected. They're too busy thinking about how to act instead of just being themselves. And when these relationships don't work out, you feel disappointed. You start questioning yourself. You wonder if maybe I'm not wired for love. Every failed connection, every awkward silence, every time someone ghosts you, it's like a blow to your self-esteem. And the more it happens, the more you start believing that the problem is you. But what if I told you it's not you? It's not about your looks. It's not even about your income or your personality. It's about these misguided ideas you were taught that's making you hide your true self. Now you're probably wondering, okay, if external tactics don't work, then what is causing most men to fail with women? Next, I show you the 3 major mistakes that are causing men to fail with women. The harsh truth is, the more you focus on winning her over, the further you actually drift from connecting with her. So let's start with the most common mistakes that's holding you back. Number 1. The obsession with getting it right is drilled into so many of us. This idea that if you say or do the right things, everything will just magically fall into place. But the truth is, when you're fixated on doing what you think she wants, you stop being yourself. You start performing instead of connecting. Picture this for a second. You're on a date, and every response, every smile, every move you make is calculated to please her. You're sitting there analyzing her reactions, constantly adjusting yourself to stay in her good graces. The problem with this is the more you're focused on getting it right, the less authentic you become. And when your authenticity goes out the window, the connection does too. Women can feel when you're not genuine. Even if you think you're hiding it well, there's an energy, there's a tension. It's like you're wearing a mask, and deep down, she can sense it. It makes her feel uncomfortable around you, like she's talking to someone who's hiding something. And you feel it too, don't you? That subtle anxiety, that constant worry that you're going to say or do the wrong thing, that you're not good enough on your own. It nags at you, making you second guess every move. Then there's what I call the nice guy trap at number 2. This is where you end up constantly seeking her approval and validation. You keep trying to be the perfect guy, always saying the right thing, always being there for her, never wanting to rock the boat. But what most people miss is that when you're constantly seeking approval, you come across as needy, and neediness isn't attractive. It's actually a sign that you don't feel complete on your own, because when you're too eager to please her, it sends a message that you're not confident in who you are. Ironically, the more you're trying to be this nice guy, the less interested she becomes. Because the fact is, nobody wants to be with someone who they need to emotionally babysit. That is exhausting. And it shows her that you're not bringing anything unique to the table. So instead of the connection you want, all you're left with is this vague sense of disappointment, constantly trying to meet some unspoken standard, constantly falling short. And if care is not taken, it leads to number 3, losing yourself entirely. This is when you stop focusing on your own goals, your own hobbies, or even your own friends. You start building a world around her, sacrificing your routines, ambitions, all because you think that's what it takes to keep her around. Maybe you remember a buddy of yours, the one who used to be at every weekend hangout. He will come to you to the gym to work out together and be at every game night until he met her. Now he has a relationship, and suddenly he became a ghost in the group chat. The reality is, when you lose yourself in someone else, you're not giving her more. You're giving her less of who you really are. You start resenting the parts of yourself that you're giving up. And in turn, you resent her for taking them, even if she never asked for it. This is where burnout happens. You're emotionally drained, feeling like you're always giving but never getting anything back. And instead of feeling close to her, you start feeling trapped. And the worst part is that she can feel it too. She feels the weight of your unspoken expectations, the silent frustration, the fact that you molded yourself around her without even asking what she wants, which is why the biggest mistake you can make as a man is giving up on your own identity to get it right for someone else. It's a shortcut that doesn't solve any real issue. So if tactics and getting it right don't work, then what does? The real answer might surprise you. You see, true attraction isn't about figuring her out. It's about building the right foundations for yourself. So let's talk about what that looks like in practice. The first step you need to take is knowing yourself. I know, this might not be the flashy answer you were expecting, I get it. But the reality is, most guys are so caught up in trying to understand what a woman wants that they completely forget to ask themselves, what do I want? What do I stand for? Because if you're always molding yourself to fit someone else's idea of the perfect guy, then who are you really? What do you stand for when you're not trying to impress someone? These are the questions you need to answer, and you can drop some of these answers down below in the comments, because when you're focused on short-term tactics, you're not building a genuine identity. You're building a facade, and that facade is hollow. Women sense it, people sense it, and deep down, you sense it too. Now, Self-development isn't about reading every book on dating and relationships. It's about understanding what drives you, what excites you, what values you hold close to your heart. When you understand who you are, you can walk into any situation with a sense of confidence. And if you're serious about developing this grounded confidence, I put together a free masterclass that dives deep into these concepts. So whether you're a single man looking to attract love or a married man looking to reignite your current relationship, this class is a game changer. So click the link in the description below and start transforming your love life today. So once you got a clearer sense of who you are, step number 2 is self-leadership. Now, don't get me wrong, this isn't about controlling others. It's about leading yourself with clarity and purpose. When you know your own boundaries, when you have your personal goals that matters to you, you're not waiting around for someone else's approval. You're not bending over backwards to keep someone around. You have your own path, your own vision, and that's incredibly attractive. A lot of guys think that being accommodating will make them more likable, but there's a big difference between compromise and losing yourself. When you abandon your own boundaries to keep someone happy, you're silently telling yourself that your needs don't matter. And that affects your confidence over time. Self-leadership means respecting your own time, energy, and goals. It means saying, this is who I am. This is what I value. I would love for you to join me, but I'm not changing my course to fit someone else's expectations. And that, my friend, is real strength. The third step is self-discovery. As Carl Jung famously said, women stand at the edge of what a man knows about himself. A powerful quote, right? What he meant here is that women tend to bring out your shadow that you are not aware of and where you need to grow. So this is not about control or making someone fit into your life perfectly, because every connection you have is a mirror, showing you parts of yourself that you may not have noticed. Maybe it's your need for validation, or maybe it's a lack of patience. There are certain things you can't discover on your own. Relationships help you bring them out to the surface. So instead of trying to shape someone else, focus on what each interaction reveals about you. See it as an opportunity to grow, to learn, to understand your own triggers and strengths. This perspective isn't just about relationships, it's about becoming a more complete person. And when you're grounded in that self-awareness and you don't feel the need to manipulate or win over anyone, you realize you're already enough as you are. So how do you keep all this together? It comes down to staying grounded in who you are and being clear about your boundaries, values, and goals. Because when you lose sight of these, you lose sight of yourself. If you're constantly bending, changing, or hiding your true self to keep someone happy, you're not building a real connection. You're just pretending. And that act can't last. True attraction is built when two whole people come together, not when one person is trying to fit into the mold of what they think the other wants. So remind yourself of your own path. Take time to check in with yourself, even in the midst of a relationship. Are you still pursuing your goals? Are you still staying true to what you believe in? Because the more grounded and authentic you are, the more you naturally attract people who respect and value the real you. So by focusing on self-development and self-leadership, you're building a foundation that no tactic can replace. You stop looking outside for answers that can only come from within. You start to create the kind of grounded confidence that doesn't just attract women, but build lasting, meaningful connections. You'll finally feel empowered, respected, and secure in who you are, because true attraction starts from within. And the more you embody that, the more you attract the right people to you. Now, everything I just told you won't work if you don't know what it actually takes to grow a relationship over time. You will end up back in the same cycle of superficial connections again and again, which is frustrating, right? So if you want to absorb all the knowledge that I've gained over the past 8 years of dating and relationships, then go ahead and click right here on this video and I will see you there. Blessings.